Welcome to my views and news. Today I have some time to speak on the ongoing rivalry between two top ethnic groups in Ethiopia. Uh, the two groups are fighting for control of institutions in three fields. This fight will continue if there is no peaceful adjustment, which does not seem very likely. When TPLF came to power in the form of EPRDF in 1991, we saw that TPLF backed change in Orthodox Church leadership. Abune Matthias was made the patriarch, a Tigrayan. Religion is one of top institutions in Ethiopia. So whoever is in power, whoever wants to be in power, will try to control religious institutions. TPLF backed election of Abune Matthias. Secondly, we saw that TPLF built Ethiopian army, ENDF, but that Ethiopian army, ENDF, was dominated by Tigrayan generals and Tigrayan personnel. And thirdly, in the field of economy, we saw that Tigrayans were running businesses. So these are three main fields: economy, religion, and security. Whoever wants to be in power in Ethiopia must be able to have a final say in these three fields. Then we saw a revolt against TPLF. People rose, especially in Oromia. It was mainly protests in Oromia which weakened TPLF's EPRDF alliance. TPLF removed, EPRDF dismantled, Prosperity Party came into being. Prosperity Party, when it came to power, it promised equal participation in the government of all ethnic groups. PM Abiy promised reforms, though he could not take TPLF on board. TPLF rebelled. We saw start of war. Both sides, entire Ethiopia united against TPLF, against Tigray political military elite. 2-year-long war came to an end last year. Now, another phase has started. Now, Tigray political military elite is no more a main political player in Ethiopia. Though they still have years of experience, contacts as well, but main fight is now between Oromo and Amhara ethnic groups. And they're fighting for the control of three institutions: religion, economy, security. You'll keep on seeing this fight. Ideal solution is that the two groups at least should sit at the table and draw some red lines and agree on some common ground. The two groups can then take other groups on board as well. But we are not seeing any progress towards a constructive engagement between these two groups. Why? Because on government level, though PM Abiy tried to create consensus in the goals of Amhara and Oromo People Party, but we saw that the consensus could not be created. And there are then opposition parties as well in both Oromo and Amhara regions. So it's difficult to create a common ground between these two ethnic groups without a comprehensive dialogue, which is not happening. Comprehensive dialogue means involvement of all parties, parties in power, parties in opposition, armed factions, civil society, a comprehensive dialogue, which is not happening. Now, what we are seeing is that the two ethnic groups are now trying to control institutions. Orthodox Church, we saw, dominated by ethnic Amharas. It was challenged by other faction. Oromia region-based supplanter faction tried to divide Orthodox Church. They said that they wanted their own separate synod because for decades they were wronged and they faced massacres in the past, and church was part of these massacres against Oromos. Government backed this division in the beginning. We saw in Oromia regional forces, federal forces, they supported the takeover of churches by the new supplanter faction. But in Amhara region, people united, and even non-Amharas as well, because church followers are from all ethnic groups. And we saw that government stepped back. Oromo supplanter faction stepped back a little. It does not mean that everything is all right. No. These tensions will persist because fight is for control of institutions. Orthodox Church has not announced any reforms, any changes within the church which could satisfy the other faction. Agreement has been signed only for a graceful return of Oromia-based Orthodox archbishops to the synod. Tensions remain. First area of confrontation, rivalry is Orthodox Church. Religion, you can say, because we are seeing an attempt of putting pressure upon Oromia government, federal government, in the form of protests in support of Mufti Haji Umar Idris, ousted leader of top Muslim organization Majlis. Protests happened in Amhara region. So here again we are seeing that one faction is backed by Muslims in Amhara region. They are backing Mufti Haji Umar Idris faction. And Muslims in Oromia government, they are backing Sheikh Ibrahim Tufa group. Fight for control of Majlis, fight for control of Orthodox Church. One area is religion. Second area is security, viewers. You'll see that both sides will try to have their men in top positions. Ethnic Amhara's political elite says in private conversations that ENDF has more share of ethnic Oromos or non-Amharas in top positions. Though a head of intelligence agency, Tomascan Terone, is an Amhara, I think. But Air Chief Ilma Mirdasa is not an Amhara, is an Oromo, I think. Same is the case with some other top positions as well. So you'll see that the two sides will try to have their men in top positions in Ethiopian National Defense Force, in Ethiopian Air Force, in intelligence agency, in cyber security agency, etc., etc. Thirdly, economy, viewers. Who will control Ethiopian economy? Who will be the main investors in Ethiopia? Amhara businessmen, Oromos or others, Gurages, etc. And those who are not from Amhara, Oromo ethnic groups, who will they support? Amhara political elite or Oromo political elite? Economy is going to be the third area of competition between these two ethnic groups. Ethnic Amhara businessmen, they have more influence in Ethiopia. And they back the church as well. But the other side will try to catch up. Oromo businessmen, they'll try to catch up. They'll try to bridge this gap, I think. Two other institutions are weak: media and judiciary. Judiciary cannot assert itself under the thumb of the government. Media under strict restrictions, and government has banned all social media in Ethiopia these days. YouTube banned, Telegram banned, Facebook as well, and TikTok too. So media is not in a position to be a major player in Ethiopian politics. Three main areas are religion, economy, and security. And this fight is already underway. Fight will intensify. Why? Because we are not seeing any constructive approach to resolve outstanding issues. All TPLF critics, ethnic Amharas, ethnic Oromos, they criticize TPLF for ethnic federalism. That TPLF divided Ethiopia through ethnic federalism. But they have not presented an alternative system, alternative constitution which is acceptable to all Ethiopians. It means secretly they want to do what TPLF did. TPLF was a minority, Tigrayan minority. So they ruled, though they were minority, but they ruled. And they could not create a participatory, inclusive constitution with an intention to create a united Ethiopia. Now, all say leadership, Amhara-Oromia leadership, they say that they work for Ethiopia, Ethiopian unity, but basically they are protecting the interests of their own people. Yes, ethnic Amharas talk more, they speak more for Ethiopianism. Why? Because perhaps they think that they are the ones who should rule Ethiopia. Ethiopia, they made Ethiopia. That is why the Amhara nationalism is nowhere to be seen. Like we're seeing Tigray nationalism, a separate Tigray regional state, or Oromo nationalism. Amhara nationalism is rare, you can say, because they believe that they should rule entire Ethiopia. Oromo nationalism, very visible. Tigray nationalism, very visible. So, among all these frictions, political, security, economy, you need visionary leadership to bring all the parties to the table. A leader who can listen to all the parties, who is impartial, and who is a genuine Ethiopian, and who can work for a united Ethiopia without being biased towards any ethnic group. Can PM Abiy live up to these expectations? So far, the last 4 years of his rule indicate that he could not meet the challenges faced by the country. The country plunged into a war, and then we are seeing start of this new confrontation between these top two ethnic groups, Amharas and Oromos. Having said that, I don't think PM Abiy is weak and he can be removed easily. So overall, I personally think that this confrontation, this uncertainty, this tug of war between these two top ethnic groups will continue. Tigrayans are recovering, they want to recover, they want to reconstruct Tigray, maybe in future they could play a role. Other ethnic groups, they are silent. Why is that Somalis, Afars, Gurages, and others, Gomas, why don't they struggle for their rights? They are mostly restricted to their regions. Their representation at federal level is there, definitely. They are part of federal cabinet, but They are not the ones who have the final say in matters of security, religion, and economy. I think these groups should play their part. They should unite to challenge these two top ethnic groups who are fighting for control. Otherwise, we'll keep on seeing this tension. I personally think this tug of war will continue until there is some constructive and sincere effort on the part of the government, opposition, and all groups in these two regions to find a lasting solution. I think we'll watch.